I want to bring you an update on a story we have been following very closely for you. San Antonio investigators say they've completed their search of a landfill for missing baby Gabriel Johnson and found no evidence of homicide. They've methodically searched the site, several phases over 16 days. And about a half hour ago, San Antonio's police chief said they found nothing. Complicating matters, he also said Gabriel's mom, Elizabeth Johnson, still is not cooperating.
It's frustrating and it's baffling. It's very baffling. I can't say that I can figure out why she's not talking, except for the obvious reasons, but it just doesn't make sense to me. She claims she didn't kill the baby, but yet she's not giving up where it is. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Has there been any
from an investigative perspective?
And baby Gabriel went missing last December. His mother is charged with kidnapping and child endangerment. And now this story.
Bachelor number one.
Yes.
What's your best time?
The best time is at nighttime.
Why do you say that?
Because that's the only time there is.
That bachelor from the 1978 dating game episode is Rodney Alcala. Now, some 30 years later, he's a convicted serial killer. Creeps me out just to watch that all over again. He's found guilty of murdering 4 women and a little girl, and there could be more. Right now, police in California are trying to figure out if he's killed other girls. Now, this guy was a photographer. That was his in with some of his victims. And cops are combing through his pictures, dozens of unidentified women. Could they be victims as well? Joining me to talk about this, welcome back, Pat Brown, criminal profiler. Pat, you look at this guy, and is it a wise move here at this point for them to release the pictures, and let's see what we can find out?
Absolutely. I mean, you can't ignore that. I mean, there could be other victims out there. There could be families whose daughters went missing and they've never figured out what happened to them. And if they recognize one of these girls, they might have an answer there. So, yes, absolutely. They have to go forward with it.
Pat, with that said, should they have released the photos sooner?
Well, I would have liked to have seen that. It depends how soon they had them in their hands. But, I mean, if it's been years and this is the first time they've gotten a hold of them, there's nothing they can do. But haven't they had them in custody for kind of a long time? So I don't really understand, why they would have held on to them. Yeah,
I'm with you on that front, Pat. Okay. As you look at this guy, and we see him on the dating game, he defended himself in his most recent trial. Do you think there are other victims out there, Pat?
Well, it is likely that there are other victims. How many, we don't know, because there may be points in time, even years, where he did not commit any crimes. And when we take a look at these pictures, for example, some of these pictures may just be part of his work or just part of his fun, but he didn't kill those girls. After all, it's kind of a help. Let's say you go out and you take a picture of Mary, and then Mary goes home, and she's perfectly fine. Then you take a picture of Linda, and she goes home, and she's perfectly fine. Then when you take a picture of Tina, and she doesn't come home, the other girls say, well, there's nothing wrong with that guy. I mean, he didn't do anything to me. So it's actually sometimes a kind of good character reference.
The murders he committed, Pat, were brutal. We're talking about using a rock to hit these victims in the head, using the claw end of a hammer to attack as well. Does that tell you that, yes, there are more victims out there?
Well, he's what I call an anger retaliatory killer. He's got a lot of rage in him, and when his life isn't going as well as he'd like, then he takes it out on his victims and takes it out on society. So it's kind of hard to believe in all those years those would be the only times that he had the problem. But serial killers don't sometimes kill as often as we think, so they can have perhaps just 3 victims in a lifetime, or they can have 30 victims in a lifetime. So you have to be open-minded both ways, and obviously search for victims that could be out there, because we want to help those families and close those cases, but we don't also want to just say every victim is his and leave some other killer out there.
Pat, what do you make of his mindset that he defended himself? He's got a very high IQ, obviously thinks a lot of himself if he's going to defend himself.
Well, actually, we see a lot of guys do this. They'll go into court to defend themselves because they are so arrogant. They think so much of themselves, and a lot of times they do a pretty poor job of it, and that's good. I mean, I'm perfectly happy if they represent themselves and foul it all up. But they are very arrogant, and they think they're better than everybody, and they think their lawyers don't know as much as them. So, also they want to go out there. They think they're got such magnetic personalities that when they defend themselves, the jury will grow to like them, and then they will let them off. So that's the other reason they do it.
All right, Pat, we're going to continue, and we'll watch that dating game clip one more time, Pat. Yeah, I know it's creepy.
He's totally creepy.
He is, and one of the other contestants said that. But we'll watch it together and have you comment on what you may have learned from just watching that and his actions and just that cheeseball nature he had even back then. We'll take calls. 1-877-TEL-HLN.
The best time is at nighttime.
Why do you say that?